G'day viewers, and welcome to the long-awaited update of my South American tank. First we'll watch a short cinematic video, and then we'll have a chat about what has changed, what hasn't changed, updates on the fish, and the big plans for the future. So let's not waste any more time and get right into it.
Geophagus Australia.
Okay viewers, this is my South American tank, which is 8 feet by 2 feet by 28 inches tall, which is about 1,000 litres or 250 gallons for our friends in the land of the free. It's built into the dining room wall because it's the only place we could find to fit it in the house. For those of you familiar with this tank, the first thing you'll notice is I've removed the big log from the middle. It was really cool, but it just took up way too much room after I put all the roots in above. And I've changed out the rocks to these more natural looking river stones, and they're piled up in the middle, gives a lot more hiding places for the catfish. The rest of the wood remains the same. The two big roots you can see there came from one tree which we had to pull out to build a hay shed. I just cut the root ball in half with a chainsaw. And the rest of the branches and the sticks all came from dead eucalyptus trees. I made a video about how I did the driftwood, and I'll put a link for that down in the description. So now let's check in with the fish, and first we have Albino Threafin Acara or Albino Heckelii, and they are gorgeous. The colours really draw the eye from across the room, those beautiful yellows, and depending on the way the light shines on their fins they have blues and pinks, and the threads are getting nice and long. Now, Geophagus Brachybranchus or black-throated earth eater. They have 4 big ones, 2 little ones. The biggest one measures at about 6 inches in length. These guys are pretty cool to watch. They cruise around the tank, they're constantly sifting the substrate, looking for food, stirring it all up. And these guys are always breeding. When they're not actually laying eggs, they're digging breeding pits or they're cleaning rocks, ready to lay eggs. And when they're in breeding mode, the black throat really colours up. They generally clean and spawn on rocks, but if they can't find any rocks they'll make use and go anywhere, like they have up on this tree root. It just goes to show that love will always find a way. These two little guys here I kept from one of their first spawns. It was this one and this one. They're about 8 months old now, and as you can see they have a fair bit of growing to do to catch up to mum and dad. Which brings us to the red head Tapajos. Got 4 of these guys in here. I've had them for about 12 months. They're just starting to colour up. Even though they've spawned a couple of times already, I'm going to wait to make sure they have really good colour before I bother breeding and keeping any of the fry. In the tank we also have 5 of these blue zebra angels. They were all spawned in this tank, and if you remember from the original video, their dad was the one who took on the chocolate cichlid. These guys take after dad because sometimes they do get a little bit nasty. We still have our little school of Redeye Tetras. These guys all stick together in a lovely tight little school, and they all swim around the top of the tank, and they really fill out the top. You can see them all the way from across the room. And without a doubt, the star of the show is Derp, our chocolate cichlid. Measuring in at 8 inches or 20 centimetres, is by far the biggest fish in the tank. Although being the biggest does not make him the meanest. In fact, he's probably the most peaceful fish in the entire tank. Derp just spends most of his time chilling, hanging around the back, waiting to be fed. Although if a fly or any other insect ever gets on top of the tank, he spots it and goes nuts. I made a video of it, and do yourself a favour, check that out if you want to see a chocolate cichlid in action. With those beautiful green and pink colours, which can change before your eyes, and the peaceful nature, I would recommend anyone considering getting a chocolate cichlid to go for it. You won't be disappointed. Now to the new additions. We have 5 of these marble Veiltail angelfish, which we bred ourselves in one of our other tanks. This is Dad, his name is Cam, and this is Mum. Mum, whose name is Winnie, has a bit of a misshapen jaw, but out of the hundreds and hundreds of fry we've bred out of these guys, she has not passed it down to any of them, so that's a good thing. These angels are a great addition to the tank with their beautiful flowing fins, and they tend to hang around the top and the middle of the tank, which really fills it out nicely. Even though they're only young and have little bodies, their fins can reach over 6 inches from top to bottom. We also have 2 Rotkeil or red shoulder Severums. These guys are only little and they're fairly slow growing. Not a lot of colour yet, but I have big hopes for the future. I'm also growing out 3 green Severums. I'll only keep one, and it'll probably be this little guy because he has the best colour. And even though he is little, he does tend to throw his weight around from time to time. I also have 1 blue Severum. He's probably the tank boss at the moment, especially around food time. He's the first one there and lets everyone know it's his. But how can you not love this beautiful blue colour? When I set this tank up, I had a particular fish in mind. It's a fish I've always loved and I've always wanted to keep. But unfortunately in Australia in the last couple of years they have been as rare as rocking horse poo. and I have searched high and low to find some. Well, about 2 months ago I had to make the big trip down to Melbourne, so I called John from Amazing Amazon about selling some of my Geophagus fry. I also asked him if there's any chance of finding the fish that I wanted, and he said he'd do his best. And John came through and managed to find me these 3 little gold Severums, and aren't they gorgeous? They're about 4 months old now, so they're going to spend a bit of time growing out in this tank, but I can't wait to put them in the big one. I think they'll be a great addition to this tank. I think they'll really stand out with that beautiful golden colour, and I'll be able to see them all the way from over here. Down below I'll leave links for my driftwood and killer chocolate cichlid videos. I'll also leave a link for one of my favourite South American tanks on YouTube, which belongs to my mate Olaf, so check those out. So if you've enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate it if you left a like. Also, if you have any thoughts or questions, I would love to hear from you down in the comments. Well viewers, that's it for this video, so look after yourself and I will see you in the next one.
Thanks for stopping by. Please remember to like and subscribe and check out one of these videos.